Hi there, Ryan. Going to talk to you today about my process for learning new songs. So, I use an application called Moses, and it leverages AI, which everyone's talking about AI these days, right? But it helps break down the song, so I can input a song into this like an MP3 that I have, and it'll analyze the song and break it down into multiple tracks, and then break it down into different sections, right? Like intro, verse, chorus, solo, outro, things like that. And I can use that to learn the song quickly, right? So I can slow down the song if I need to, although I normally never slow down the song. The reason why is if you're working a song and it's too fast, right, and the riff is just it's like screaming, right, and you're like, I can't play that. When you slow it down to where you can play it, the position of your fingers is possibly not the right positioning that you would need to play it at full speed, right? They may not be efficient at full speed. It might work at 80 beats per minute, but if you've got to play it at 140, a whole different ballpark, right? So that's why I prefer not to slow it down. Even if I can't play all the notes at that full speed, I mimic it, right? I pretend I'm playing it just to kind of get my fingers in a position where, like, what would be efficient to actually hit those notes in that time that's required. And, if there's, like, say 20 notes in this passage and I can only hit like 3 of them at full speed, that's fine. I'll put that on loop and just keep going through that until I get more and more of it. And, I didn't always do that. I used to like kind of slow things down until I could play it. And then as I sped it up, I realized this finger position is not possible at that faster speed, right? This is not possible. So I had to relearn what I'd already learned and retrain with muscle memory a different way to play it. So after doing that once or twice, I don't really slow things down. Maybe to like listen and hear, but not to try to like actually play it. So, but you can do that in the software. You can change the pitch, which is super helpful. If you don't want to switch guitars around and it's down tuned or something, you can change the pitch easily there. So, and it's very easy to loop. I used to loop stuff in my DAW all the time. Having that for recording quite a while, but I got to select regions and loop and all that, and it takes a little bit of time. But with Moses, it uses AI to figure that out by section when it analyzes the song, and then it literally has a section of all the different breakouts, and you just click it and loop. You're done, right? 2 mouse clicks, done. So you can't beat that. And if you have a lot of songs to learn, like I did, saving 5-10 minutes per song on mouse clicks adds up a lot over 150 songs, right? So, and when I approach a song, I start from the beginning, right? I'll loop that intro, loop it until I've got it. I normally don't try to go to full perfection here. I normally go anywhere from like 70 to 80% perfection on a section before I go to the next part. And the reason why is that I need to learn the whole song, not just master this like intro or verse or something. And I'm going to be playing the song so many times in my process that just because I'm starting at 70 or 80% doesn't mean I'm going to end there, right? So once I get 70, 80% perfection on that, I'll either go to the next section, or a lot of times I'll like to just drag the loop selection to include the next section, right? So if I'm looping the intro and I've got that at 80%, I'll expand the loop to include the first verse. So then I'll go through the intro and the first verse and loop those through. And if the verse is more difficult, I might loop just the verse and then include the intro and the verse together. And it's kind of this process of continually adding a little bit more of the song. So as you can see, by the time we get to the end of the song, I've played the intro 50, 60 times or something, right? So and I like doing that so it's not in isolation as well, because you kind of get the dynamics of the song as a whole, right? You can't just grab the third chorus and the first verse and play those the same way, same emotion, same dynamics, right? It's a progression of the song, and it's not always, or very rarely, I guess, a consistent crescendo across the song, right? You're going to have ups and downs, and that's part of the emotion of music, is that it's got those dynamics and moves around. So when you're adding multiple sections together, you get to feel more of that emotion and practice those dynamics of the song, because learning a song is not just about the notes. And honestly, I've performed songs that I didn't hit the right notes or the right chords or whatever, right? Like sometimes I had to make some stuff up because I forgot them or whatever. But what I think is more important for live shows is the emotion of the song, right? And can the audience connect to the song, feel that emotion? And in my experience, at least in the bands that I'm in, we're not being analyzed or judged by professional musicians to sit there and take notes and see if we hit every note right. They're there to have fun, and they love these songs, right? So am I doing the song justice? Is the emotion there? Is the feeling there? And I could hit all the right notes and not have the feeling, and it'll sound sterile, right? And you may not be able to describe that listening to it, like exactly what it is, but you can just maybe feel like it doesn't sound like I remember, even though they're the right notes, right? But if that emotion is there and those dynamics are there, I think that goes a long way with the song. So it's not as tangible, so it's kind of hard to describe, how I go about learning that. But really listening to the song, without your instrument, just put it on repeat and listen to it all day, and feel the song, right? What's the emotion? Close your eyes. What do you feel? How does this song change your mindset, right? Does it calm you down? Does it make you more anxious? What is the song doing to you? And that's kind of the emotion that's in it a little bit too, right? So you need to capture some of that, I think, when you're trying to do justice to a song and perform it, right? So yeah, and then after I've kind of gone through the song and learned it, then it's just on repeat, right? Play the song over and over and over again. If I learn a song like on a Monday, I'll come back Tuesday morning and try to run through it again. I might have the song perfect on Monday, and then by the next day, after I've had a night's sleep, I might have forgotten 30% of it, right? So it's in short term, but it's not locked in long term memory yet. So I find this happens a lot, right? So part of my process is I learn it, and then the next day hit it again, and then I might run through it a couple times, and then it's back in memory, and then I'll work on another song, and then Wednesday comes around, I'll hit that Monday song again, right? Just to reinforce that. So as many times as I can hit that song on different days as well is what helps transition from the short-term to long-term memory. I don't want to be on the stage trying to memorize the song, right? And I'm not performing with sheet music, right? It's a high-energy rock show, so people don't want to see me up there with a music stand, right? They want to see me up there jumping around and doing all the crazy stuff. So I'm not going to use cheat sheets and stuff, right? And people that do there's no problem with that. You do whatever you need to do for you. But in the bands I'm in, that's not our vibe. So I have to have it locked in there. But I also can't be thinking about it, right? Because if I'm on stage and I'm thinking, what's the next chord? What's the next note? I'm in trouble, right? That's the wrong mindset. I need to be thinking about who's in the audience that's vibing the most or the least on this, and either working with them or helping build them up on that. And what are my bandmates doing? And are we vibing together? And hey, this next part's really cool. We're all going to jump together, or, performing the song, right? Not trying to memorize or think about my next notes. So to do that, I need to learn the song really well. It needs to be in long-term memory, muscle memory. I need to be able to close my eyes, grab a guitar, and just shred through whatever the notes are and not really think about them. So that's my process for learning new songs. So hopefully that was helpful. Thanks.